Have you ever seen anything as crazy as Joy Behar lecturing Tim Scott about systematic racism? Watch.
Tim Scott, he does not seem to understand, and a lot of them don't seem to understand, the difference between a racist country and a systemic racism. They don't seem to get the difference. Yes, maybe it's not a racist country. Maybe Americans, the majority, are not racist. But we live in a country with systemic racism. We discussed it this week again already about housing and about education and all of the things that are important to people. And the fact that Tim Scott cannot acknowledge this is appalling.
You know, this is a phenomenon that many of us who are minorities, brown or black skinned, have to put up with. And it is beyond, it's amusing, it's exasperating, it is preposterous. I remember years ago when I was a student at Dartmouth, went to a meeting of the International Students Association, and this white kid comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, Dinesh, he goes, I really don't understand why you wanted to leave India. I love India." And I was just kind of curious at this sort of passionate outbreak. So I was like, "What is it that you love about India?" And he's like, "Oh man," he's like, it's just it's so liberating." And now, I had a happy childhood. I enjoyed India, great family, great school. But if I had to think of one word about my growing up years and about India in general, I wouldn't choose the word liberating. So just for discussion, I said to this kid, I go, "Hey, what do you find so liberating about India? Is it like arranged marriage, the dowry system? Perhaps you're thinking of the caste system, the old practice of tossing widows on the burning pyre of their husbands." I was just doing this to provoke a debate, but suddenly I realized he was out of there. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to go get a drink." He was gone. Why? Because he was a dope. He knew nothing about India. He was projecting his own little petty anger at his pastor or his parents or his preacher and God knows who else onto this country he knew nothing about. And the same is true with Joy Behar. She's talking about systematic racism in housing. What would she know about that? Tim Scott knows something about that. Systematic racism embedded in our institutions. What would she know about that? Tim Scott was raised in South Carolina, the first state that seceded from the Union. His parents grew up in segregated America. If there's anybody who understands this from the inside out, it's Tim Scott. And so you have people who have actual experience, who know something about these issues, who have thought deeply about them all their lives, being lectured about it by some, actress and twit who has this condescension that is so baffling and so infuriating that I'm sure Tim Scott is literally speechless. And then the fact that you have a media chorus cheering on Joy Behar makes the whole thing even more surreal. The bottom line, Tim Scott knows what he's talking about, and Joy Behar does not.